Hello there. So thank you very much for tuning back into my readings of The Projection of the Astral Body and by Sylvan, Muldoon and Hereward, Carrington. For those that are following along, we've been doing this a little while now. So this is in conjunction to my other studies and physical studies for the projection of the astral body, or astral projection as a lot of people put it. Consciously, I've been actively committed to the science and the conscious and subconscious mind and how it works and develops in regards to astral projection. Some people refer to it as other things. In my mind, there are various different aspects to astral projection. That it starts off very lightly with meditation, and perhaps willing yourself to go to a certain area. However, I'm 3 years in with my studies of astral projection and physical commitment and dedication to astral projection, and I perform this every day to see various different results, sometimes very good and sometimes not very good. One thing I can tell you is I've only had one negative experience where I've actually had to rethink the way I'm doing things, but I will explain that on another day. So this book here was something that I found greatly helpful in not only in hearing other people's opinions or this thesis here about how they were able to get into various hypnagogic states or dream states to find out. Now, I respect Sylvan, Muldoon and Hereward Carrington massively. I wish that they were here to have a cognitive conversation about their studies. And if I was there in their lifetime, then I most definitely would have contacted them in order to be part of their studies or actively given my contribution to how I am experiencing astral projection. I do believe that it's different for everybody. However, there is clear and very distinctive differences between actively seeking to produce astral projection to it's almost like proving a theory that there is that dream state, being able to move your phantom independently, and various different things. Now, if you have been following along with the readings previously, what you will find is that I haven't shared many of my experiences when it comes to astral projection. Now, that is because mostly that it happens so often. Now, you might think to say, oh, yes, I'm sure it does. This is something that I actively pursue to find out how far I can push myself as an individual. So there's not, I'm currently in a state where I've gone back to the mundane lucid dreaming, very extreme lucid dreaming, almost like living another life in a dream state at over the past 3 to 4 days, because I've been unwell, so I'm not actively trying to put myself in the position where I'm taking in various different elements to be in control of that astral body. So at the moment, everything's going a little bit haywire. But that's okay, because it's allowing me to relax and learn new things in other areas of my life, of different things. But anyway, let's get on with the book, because I've already waffled and deleted it once, so I don't want to keep waffling. But let me tell you, when you and I don't want to be a dictator here. I just want to say that there is a very, very clear definition between astral projection, dream state, meditative astral projection. It is very, very different. And there are various people across the internet who are claiming that they are, and bar some, I can spot an astral projector, somebody that astral projects a mile off. I just know. And I know somewhere that some people have been where I've been or see what I have seen. And I find that fascinating. However, each person's, I can and so if you ever listen to this, um, uh, and I would love to say who they are, because I can see them a mile off. However, for the people that are still in the mundane dream state, lucid dreaming state, where you are just having very active, very colourful, very vivid dreams, absolutely look for the messages and the symbols and so forth. But to be trying to use those experiences to teach others how to astral project is not the right way to go about things. You need to be doing your research, because you've got to remember that people's mental well-being is a strong element to how effective astral projection can be. And I strongly ward against anybody messing around with astral projection, or I would just highly sorry, my stutter's quite bad. I would just highly recommend people not nudging other people to push them into any kind of astral projection work, depending on the on their knowledge. You need to make sure that you know what you're doing. 3 years in, and I would never ever recommend astral projection to anybody unless they'd done their own research, and looked into the elements of how it affects mental well-being, how mental well-being affects astral projection, because my goodness, it really does. And if you followed along with this particular book, I do have others. Then this book here, it dips its toe in it a little, in slightly. However, there are other books that will explain it, which I don't have. So I do have some, but I don't have the ones that go into that retrospectively. Okay, I said I wasn't going to waffle, and I've waffled on this one longer than I waffled to start with. So I'm going to continue now with developing a conscious self on page 217. Okay, so we're ready to go. In order to be a successful projector, you should center your mind upon yourself, study yourself, get inquisitive about yourself, and try to know yourself. There is only one person just like you in the whole world, and that is you. Stop studying other people for a while and begin to study yourself. You do not have to look 92 million miles away at the sun in order to find something to marvel over. The sun is no more mysterious than you are. When you begin to investigate yourself in this manner, you will wonder that you knew so little about yourself before. Several years ago, I believe I was in Physical Culture magazine. I read an article by a well-known writer who stated that the majority of persons had no idea what their bare backs looked like. They had never seen their own spine in a mirror. Spine in a mirror. Yet these same people believe they know themselves. In astral projection, a consciousness of self is highly important. So begin now to study yourself. Here is an exercise which I believe brought me successful results, and you will find it invaluable as an aid to astral projection. Place a chair before a mirror, for you are now about to try bewilder yourself with yourself. In this exercise, you are to study yourself so intensely that you almost go to sleep while doing so, and lose your understanding of which is the real you. I am assuming that you are now comfortably seated in an armchair, facing your reflection in the mirror. Do not think of the mirror, and do not believe that you are looking at a reflection. Try rather to convince yourself that you actually are where the reflection is, that you are not in your real body at all. Now begin to scrutinize yourself carefully, trying to find things about yourself which you have never recognized before. See the true color of your hair, the true expression of your eyes, and the true shape of your nose. See that cheekbone, those few whiskers on your chin, the lumps on your forehead, the little ridges around your nose. Yes, there is enough to keep you busy looking at and studying yourself for some time, so keep it up. Now that you have given yourself a concentrated examination, stand up in front of the mirror and look directly into your eyes. Keep your eyes centered on the eyes in the reflection. Blink when you are inclined to, but keep your eyes on the eyes in the mirror. Are you growing unsteady now? Are you swaying slightly from side to side? That is what you should do. Now sit down again in the chair and gaze directly into the eyes in the mirror, keeping your stare concentrated upon those eyes. As you do this, repeat your own name over and over, distinctly and monotonously. This has a very subtle effect upon the mind. If after a while your eyes seem to be getting dim or misty, do not let this distract your attention, but keep everlastingly gazing into your own eyes. In your mind, you are to believe that the reflection in the mirror is the real you. You are not to remember the fact that you are sitting in the chair. Believe only that the real you is the reflection in the mirror. You are seeing yourself, but the real you is in the mirror. Try to go to sleep with this in mind, and with your eyes centered upon the eyes in the mirror. This delusion of self rattles the astral body, for it puts the idea in the subconscious mind that the reflection is the real you, and after you go to sleep, the suggestion to that effect is often strong enough to possess the subconscious will, to move the astral body over the place where the innate mind thinks you really are. Remember, it makes no difference how true the suggestion coming from the subconscious mind really is. If the mind is deluded by the belief that you're at the spot shown in the reflection, it impresses the subconscious will to that effect. You can try this at night, if you wish to, intending to go to sleep in the chair, or you can practice the exercise until you are dog-tired, then jump into bed and go to sleep at once, keeping the vision in mind. Needless to say, in this exercise you are to use your own eyes in the mirror, as you would a crystal ball. It would be a good idea also to read up on how to develop crystal gazing and apply it in this exercise, for space cannot be devoted to that subject here. This is an excellent exercise involving the specific requirements of the astral projection. Okay, 219, dynamization of the projection. One of the strongest aids to projection of the astral body is realization of the astral body phenomena. That is, an understanding of the true facts of the actions of the astral body, the causes for these actions, etc. These must be firmly fixed in the mind. Sometimes the realization will suddenly burst upon you, and you will wonder how you ever missed such obvious realities before. Some of the readers of this book may perhaps open their eyes to these phenomena of the self after studying it, and will almost immediately begin to notice symptoms of astral body activity which had hitherto passed by them without a second thought. Read about the phenomenon, think of the phenomenon, and practice the phenomenon intensely. If you would become a projector, root an understanding of the phenomenon in your mind so deeply that it becomes part of your life. Become so bound upon in the study of the astral projection that you will become almost irritable if you are interrupted when thinking and studying and learning about it. That is the big secret in making yourself express the phenomenon. Remember, I am now telling you of another method of causing the astral body to project, that is, by stressing astral projection in your mind. This is the direct method, and when it becomes a part of the subconscious mind, the mind is obsessed by the knowledge that the astral body can exist apart from the physical, as well as in the coincidence with the physical, and the mind sees therefore no reason why the astral body should not be outside the physical. Woohoo! Do you see the significance of this? You are to so thoroughly saturate your subconscious mind with astral projection that it creates a stress of astral projection in your mind. You do this by way of the conscious mind through tenacious study of the art, practice of the art, thinking of the art. Have one great ambition, to project your astral body. Become wrapped up in this one ambition, and you are not only creating a strong desire which the subconscious mind, which now knows all about the projections, tries to appease, but you are creating a tenacious habit, and will often begin to dream of the phenomenon. Ha ha! And here we go. We're rolling with it now. This will be especially probable if you go to bed reading about it and go to sleep with it in your mind. Mark this. If you ever begin to dream of astral projection, that is, dream that your astral body can and does do these things, you are positively sure to experience a projection of the astral body. How could you have dreamed of the actual phenomenon until now? For you did not fully understand it. Perhaps you never knew you possessed an astral body, but now you can saturate your mind so thoroughly with the understanding of the phase that you can have a clear vision of it and become so profoundly interested in the matter that it will be part of your very life, and you can dream about it. I know positively that dreaming of astral projection will cause the projection of the astral body. Even a dream of projection, brought about by the fear of projection, will pull out the dream body. I shall now explain how fear exerts both negative and positive effects upon projection, depending upon the circumstances under which the fear has manifested. When I first experienced conscious projection of the astral body, I'll admit I used to be afraid. Not during the projection, that is the strange part, but before going to sleep. The wonder of it gripped my mind beyond words, gripped me more than anything else ever gripped me. I somehow conceived the idea, mostly as the result of hearing others tell about it, that's a key fact, that fiends, murderers, and all sorts of devils lurked on the astral plane, waiting to get into people. One prominent spiritualist informed me that some devil might influence me while projected, or that he might get into my physical body and I'd prevent me from getting back in. I admit that I was frightened. So frightened at first that I thought I was afraid to go to sleep at night. And I would just break there. That is an experience I've had myself over the years, where I foolishly listened to other people's so-called experiences of astral projection, where they have come back with something attached to them. Okay, now the only elements that I've ever had and seen was watching various videos on TikTok. I've only joined TikTok 2 years ago, and my goodness, a minefield of misinformation and knowledge has been spread far and wide. In many different elements of occultism, spiritualism, anything that is not Christian or Catholicism has been so widely spread, it's become a boom. The way I've seen it grown in the last 2 years is phenomenal, and I think it's fantastic that people are taking various different approaches to different ways of thinking, and I'm all for that, absolutely. But you've got people that are also spreading a lot of misinformation, which then people that are taking on board, preventing them from having, wanting to experience various different things. I've also seen actively people sit and have readings or psychic readings with many different psychics or mediums who have said you have got something dark lingering around you, and of course that can be possible. Of course, I'm not going to doubt anybody in regards to that, but the chances of you not actively astral projecting as a normal person, going into a dream state, being in astral by accident, where you don't know where you're going, willy-nilly, you don't know where you've ended up, in your mind you're just having a lucid dream, so they don't even, for example, this person doesn't even know what astral projection is, so they don't know where they are, where they're wandering, or what realm or what plane they're on. I've never heard not one of those persons explained that scenario in their whole life and said that they've come back with an entity. Ever. The only people that I've ever heard that have explained that they've come back with an entity on them, is somebody else telling a person that's told that person that they've been practicing astral projection. Okay. I mustn't waffle because I will get very passionate about it. Okay. Page 220. I admit that I was frightened. So frightened at first that I was afraid to go to sleep at night. I had the whole phenomenon firmly fixed in my mind, and would always begin to think of it, to vision it, just as soon as I went to bed, because of my fear that I should project, and would be apprehended by some astral monster. And what did this fear do? It made me project all the more, for my mind was so saturated by the knowledge of what took place, and intensified the fear which externalized my neuric energy, as it does everybody else's, making me still more subject to extensive separations, that no sooner would I fall asleep than I would be dreaming of projection. I've been there, trust me. It's not fun, where you can't get out of the loop of astral projection. And that is what made me so passionate about learning this. Since a child, I have been a very active lucid dreamer. And as I grew older in my teenage years, the only way that I could get rid of it was to try and sleep soundly, was to drink alcohol. So from the ages, and I wasn't of legal age, I was probably about 15, right up until I was 30, and bar my pregnancy, of course. But up to 2 years ago. Okay, so 2 years ago, I've gave up. This is why I've reintroduced this. I've had to find answers here. And this is why over the last 3 years, I have been physically trying to control it myself, because I don't drink anymore. I haven't drunk for 2 years. I'm not a drinker. I don't enjoy it. It's not for me. And that's the end of that conversation. But I felt that for many, many years, to rid myself of what I would call lucid dreaming, or very, very lucid dreaming, it was scarily real, was to have a tipple before I would go to bed, so that it would prevent me from dreaming. But anyway, I tried sleeping pills, I tried natural remedies, I tried everything, but nothing. So now I embrace it. Over the last 3 years, I've embraced it and allowed it to happen. And this is how I came to trying to control it myself. Okay. Okay. Now I've lost my place. Okay, we are on 22 minutes. So what I'll do is I'll leave it there. Okay, let's just carry on. This will be especially probable if you go to bed reading about it and go to sleep with it in your mind. Mark this. If you ever begin to dream of astral projection, that is, dream that your astral body can do these things. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. How could you have dreamed of the actual phenomenon until now? For you did not fully understand it. Okay, let's go. 221. I'm really sorry. I'm waffling. And every single time the astral body would be pulled out by the suggestion coming from my mind. Many times I would become conscious, emerging from the dream state, and many times I would merely dream the action out, with the body participating. Repercussions were a nightly occurrence, but the fact which baffled me the most was this. Why was I so terribly frightened when in the physical, or when the first awakening within coord activity range, which would cause repercussion, while when free, that is, when waking outside coord activity range, I would have no fear whatsoever? This was one of the observations that impressed me the most forcibly, why the fear disappeared. It was like a player before a football game, or a prize fighter before the fight began, dreadfully fearful and nervous, but suddenly losing all fear and becoming composed. Yet that was the way I experienced it. After a while I became so accustomed to projection that I began to really like it. The devils and astral fiends did not seem to be so concerned about me after all, and they were not, so far as I could see, when I did happen to see anyone, very different from people I had always known. As the fear of projection left me, I noticed that the projections themselves began to occur less often, and as desire replaced the fear, I again noticed that I was becoming more subject to them. I now know that fear and desire produce the same effect in the subconscious mind, carrying suggestion of the astral projection into sleep, or bursting forth in the mind while one sleeps. My subconscious mind had been fairly saturated with the knowledge of what my astral body could do and the desire to do it. And that is how you too can develop yourself. Simply dynamize the subconscious mind with the true knowledge of and desire for astral projection. With your mind so dynamized, go to sleep. You can saturate the subconscious mind with this knowledge and desire by way of the conscious think projection. Practice projection and read of projection over and over again. Go to sleep reading about it. Concentrate on going to sleep, on the route which the phantom will take when projected. This latter statement is very important. And I have found that once the mind is dynamized, it is one of the best possible forces tending towards success. But you could not have done this before, for no one ever before told you the route which the phantom invariably takes in projecting until you read it in this book. Henceforth, whenever dynamization of projection is mentioned, it simply means the saturation of the subconscious mind with the knowledge of and desire for projection of the astral body, and you cause this saturation of the subconscious mind by way of the conscious mind, the conscious will. Page 222. We'll leave it there for today. I'm a little bit over animated. I'm not normally this way. So if this one puts you off, please go back to the other ones. Yes. I'm the projection of the astral body. Sylvan, Muldoon and Hereward, Carrington. So please feel free to share any of your own experiences that you have in the comments, or perhaps make your own videos. Share your experience when it comes to astral projection and how you get there. What's going on when you're in that dream state, trying to produce the will to astral project? What is the feeling in your body? What is it that you're seeing if your eyes are closed? Or are you able to astral project with your eyes open? Is that a thing? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I know that I have heard wild different stories, and I'm happy to hear them all. There's no judgment here. I just want to know and bring together the people that are actively looking at the astral projection and the projection of the astral body. Tell me where you've been. Tell me where you're going. Tell me where you want to get to. I'm really passionate about it, and I want to know the methods and the theories that you have regarding astral projection. Much love. Thank you. Bye-bye.